Hello, everybody. Welcome to Finding the Solution. It's a podcast, my first podcast. This is the first episode. I think we go on this journey together. I've never podcast before, and I am also visually impaired. So I think it's important that we do this together. We have the raw, we have the mistakes. I have a couple of people in the background helping me. I'm very, very grateful for. But what does the podcast entail? It's going to entail 4 fundamentals for me. Recovery. Recovery is a massive one for me. Mental health. As you know, over the past numerous years, I've struggled with my mental health and continue on a daily basis. Homelessness. I've been through a journey, which you will find out a bit more throughout the coming months. Of sofa surfing, being street homeless, temporary accommodation, and now to having a home. Tough journey, but I'm sat here in front of you today. And the last one is going to be being visually impaired, being registered blind just coming up to 3.5 years ago. And that is really where my life changed. That is really where, as the podcast is called, I had to find the solution around every aspect of my life. The journey has not been easy, but it's been wonderful. It really has. It's been one day at a time. I often say this, but it's been one day at a time. So where are we at today? This first podcast is just a quick introduction. The idea of the podcast is to get people who have inspired me or continue to inspire me on a daily basis. I've met lots of people, whether it be through campaigning, whether it be through fighting for homelessness, whether it be in recovery, whether it be playing visually impaired sports or doing activities with people who are visually impaired, going to concerts, football matches, stuff like that. And also mental health. And, that journey is going to involve some truths and getting people on who have been on that journey with me and are on that journey themselves in one of them aspects. And introduce, I have met lots of people in the last 3.5 years who inspire me on a daily basis. People who play visually impaired sports. People who continue to smash recovery out the park. And probably don't realise how much they inspire me on a daily basis. Sponsees, my sponsor, just a wonderful, wonderful journey. People who quite openly speak around mental health. And it's not easy. It's not easy as a grown man explaining when you're suffering with mental health issues, when you suffer with anxiety. But there's one thing I've learned over the last couple of years, and it's okay to not be okay. So I'm going to smash some barriers, mate. And that's going to use honesty, bit of integrity and a bit of humility, I think. So you're going to get to know me. I'll let you know a little bit more about me on a monthly basis. I plan on having guests on, and also hopefully doing a more extensive podcast about each one of them guests in the background as well, with a link so you can listen to a more unedited, lengthy interview with each one of these people. So finding the solution. Let's talk about that. This is an idea I had 12, 18 months ago about podcasting, but also taking visually impaired sports into schools. And also taking podcasting into schools. And that's three parts of a charity that I've opened. And this is all new to me, opening a charity. I've had lots of amazing help in the background from Crisis UK, from Mike Manuel in the Changing Lives. I've had lots of help from Tomash and lots of people in the Skylight in Liverpool. And changing lives, that's what I really want to do. And finding the solution is a way of me doing that. So what we're going to do is this is podcast number 1. Woo! I am dead nervous, I'm not going to lie. But I think the nerves, I once heard somebody say to me, you know, if you're not nervous, you have to work on your ego. So I think the nerves are a good thing. I do think they're a good thing. Yeah, so we're going to podcast. I'm in the process of doing some fundraising letters, some letters to send out to schools, emails, and I want to take a sport called Go Ball into mainstream schools. Sport was an amazing activity for me when I first started to lose my sight. It was an introduction back into life. It was like a reset button for me. It was that feeling that I was going to be okay. And it was also freedom. And I want to give that back. And I believe that taking a visually impaired sport into a school, and we put shades on 12 kids, and we play Go Ball. We do 4 sets of 3s. But I believe when you put the shades on the kids become vulnerable in a safe space. The kids are all as vulnerable as each other because nobody can see. We play some games. And then the most important thing playing visually impaired sport is communication. So I'm going to teach the kids to communicate on a level where they're vulnerable. Take them really back to the basics. You know, I honestly believe no child is born with any anxiety, any fear, any pain. I think we introduce that stuff. So it's an opportunity for the kids to be humble, talk to each other, communicate, and then we play Go Ball, which is sort of dodgeball for visually impaired people. So it's a sport that I will explain on a deeper basis in the coming months. I may have people from Go Ball UK on. I may have people who have played Go Ball alongside me on. But yeah, so Go Ball. And then as I get better at this podcasting, I mean, names dissipate a little bit. And I learn to use the equipment. I mean, I've got a guy here tonight helping me, which is amazing. And people in the background who are helping me, I'm very, very grateful and full of gratitude. But the idea is for me to go into schools and teach children that you're free to be, to be open. I don't want to have no kids on my podcast, but I believe that I can empower kids to maybe do their own podcasts, whether I can empower schools to do podcasts. And even if it's podcasting around the sports to start. So the charity is to be all inclusive, really. To help as many people as possible, but the sports side will be going into schools, doing sessions with 12 children, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hour sessions, 12 children, teaching communication, sports, just how to get on better, how to interact in a different way. And then eventually podcasting. And I'm dead excited, to empower others, to give them that hour and a half of freedom. Yeah. Do you know what? I'm lit up like a Christmas tree at the thought that over the coming months, I will be going into schools. But yeah, I really believe that getting the right people on this podcast, allowing them people to tell their stories, will have an impact on other people's lives. And, you know, I don't want to pull the world down. That's not my idea. My idea is to find out what's wrong and then find the solution. Get people on who are doing this amazing work in the background that sometimes we don't hear about. Connect the dots, give people information, put them numbers on my Instagram, on my Facebook, on my YouTube account. Give people a way of getting in touch with some of these organisations. And, you know, I've come across many organisations throughout the city that are just wonderful, doing amazing, wonderful work. And sometimes, you know, when you're struggling and when you're in them times of need, them places seem so far away. So maybe we can just feed that information out a bit more. I'm just going to be honest, one of the lights has just gone off. I don't know why, but technical difficulties on episode 1. I'm hoping that in 6 to 12 months we're sitting here and it comes on with the lovely music and the soundtrack and it's finding the solution. And yeah, maybe a bit of music, a few pictures of this beautiful, wonderful city. I live in Liverpool. And it's a little bit more edited and stuff. And yeah, but you know, but I want this journey to be real. It's the most important part for me. The journey has to be real. I want everybody to understand that they can get up and have a go at this. Do you know what's another thing that's funny? I've wrote a couple of things on piece of paper to remind me what I should talk about. And unless I hold them really close, I can't see them. So bullet points don't work for me. Bullet points really don't work. But I'm going to hold this paper up and just... Yeah, so do you know what? The guests... I have a couple of guests lined up. I am not telling you who the guests are. I am not giving you that information yet. But I have a few very, very inspirational people. In fact, if everything goes right, I may have my mentor from London on next month. He can introduce himself. And I want you to be on the part of this journey of the charity growing and people in the background growing within the charity and being able to give back. You know, there's a real opportunity in life to help others. For many years, I literally said that I couldn't help. No one was listening. And it took me getting clean and sober. I'm just over 3 years. Took me to get sober to see clearly. Which is crazy, isn't it? But, you know, the impact of losing my sight was what pushed me to get sober. So losing my sight is probably the greatest thing that's happened to me in the last 4 years. The most difficult thing as well. You know, dealing with the fear, the anxiety, the stress, the pain. But then having to face them challenges head on. Having to be brave, man. Life's okay, isn't it? Life is really okay. So I'm going to try and get this second piece of paper. Right. So I am going to talk a little bit around changing lives. And this is the reason why I'm sat here with you today on the first podcast. Changing lives is a thing that happened through Crisis UK. And it's given me the opportunity to open a charity and help others. But I've also had some amazing help in the background. And they continue to help me with this stuff. Opening a charity is not easy. Opening bank accounts, getting liability insurance, doing all this stuff, you know, finding trustees. I have amazing trustees as well. People in the background who are prepared to tell me that's not good enough. And maybe over the next coming months you get to meet them people as well. That's their choices, not mine. But yeah, so another quick thing I want to talk about is, being homeless. I've spoken in the Labour Party conference alongside Angela Naina, alongside Andy Burnham. I've spoken in Parliament, because the solution is lived experience, getting up and fighting back. But it's also about government, councils, housing associations. But, I am able to sit in front of these people and tell them what's not working. Tell them about the impact of being homeless, what it's had on me, my mental health, the impact it's had on my family, but also the impact on me having a social home today has had. And all this will come out over the next coming months. I could sit and talk to you for hours about that stuff. I really could. I'm very, very passionate about helping anybody who's struggling. I believe everybody deserves a safe, affordable home. And it is a right, it's not a fight. And I believe that the government should just start building more homes. But we can go into that in more depth. So the first proper podcast next month is hopefully going to be a bit more of an introduction into Go Ball. Maybe a few rules and a few photos, maybe. If I can get somebody to put a video in, maybe one of them. And explain what I do, explain what the charity is going to do, how we take it into the schools. I already take a class once a month in the Whittle, with lots of children, and it's wonderful watching the impact of sport on a child. It really is. So the next podcast will be a little bit more about Go Ball. And then maybe if I can get the technology to work right, so let's not make no promises I can't keep. But if I can get the technology to work right, and maybe we get my mentor from London, Craig, to come on a Zoom and then introduce himself. And over the next coming months, you will meet Craig, you will meet the people from Changing Lives, people from Crisis, also people from Shelter. I have done lots of beautiful work with people from Shelter. I also campaign within Liverpool. We've done a listening campaign within Liverpool. And now we have a campaign called Help, which is house everyone in Liverpool properly. And I'm just going to plug it. I'm not bothered. I'm going to plug Help. But also on the 22nd of May in Toxteth Library, we have an exhibition. I think the exhibition's on now up until the 22nd. It's 10 people's stories of the impact of homelessness. My story's up there. One thing I don't do anymore is I don't lie around anything. I don't lie around the impact that life can have on you. But I'm going to keep saying it. The podcast's called Finding the Solution. And that's what I've had to do in every aspect of my life. And I continue to do that. Do I get it right every day? No, I don't. But I get to work on my difficulties, and I get to go again. So the next podcast is hopefully going to be not just me talking. Hopefully it's going to be a couple of videos, maybe a Zoom meeting with my mentor. And this journey, I really want to do. I want you to feel like you are on this journey with me. And let's all find a solution together. This will be downloaded onto Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Spotify. I would do it that, I don't know, because as I say, I can't even see the screen that's in front of me, so I can just see a shape of the screen. But I have amazing people in the background. I'm going to give a quick shout out to Gordon, who's helping me loads, and has come round and set the camera up and give me loads of help tonight. I'm very grateful. I'm just going to finish this first one off. Yeah, with a little bit of humility. You know, one thing I have to do on a daily basis now is set myself up right. And if that's with prayer, meditation, but the most important thing for me is a gratitude list. Turn that attitude into gratitude, isn't it? You know, find 5 things you're grateful for on a daily basis. It may sound like nothing that, but the 5 things I see every day that I'm grateful for shows me the truth through the lies, shows me what's right in front of me, shows me the solution, shows me, like, you know, loved ones right in front of me, having a roof over my head, people who care, people who reach out to me, people I can reach out to. So start your day off right, set yourself up right, and I wish everybody the most amazing, wonderful day today. I don't know what day you're going to listen to this on, but I wish you the most amazing, wonderful day. I really, really do. Just remember one thing before I finish, is that the only person who can steal your peace is you. And I'll leave it there. And thank you for anybody who's joined in and listened. And I can't wait to go on this journey with you. Thank you.